All right, good evening, everyone. This is the planning board meeting of August 24th. Do I have the right date here? Yeah.
August 31st.
August 31st, because this is from the last agenda. Yeah, yeah. Because August 24th was canceled due to lack of water, so this is August 31st. So if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Jim, if do we have a sign-in sheet for everybody?
Going around.
So we have people in the audience tonight. All right, the first thing we had tonight was, well, it was actually scheduled for the 24th, and we had having a presentation on the solar pilot and real estate tax, and it was by Craig Schoaf, who was the Assistant Finance Director here at the Town Hall.
So what I did, I put his presentation in the packages. He's on vacation this week, but he said he'll come back before the planning board when he returns. But some members had questions about, taxes being paid for these projects. So there's a handout in your packet that kind of shows a representation between the pilot taxes or payment in lieu of taxes and real estate taxes on some sample projects so that people can get an indication what those taxes are that are being paid on the project. So it's in your packets I gave you tonight if you want to take a look at those. So I just want to bring that up, mention it to you folks, give you a chance to look at it.
So he will be hopefully at our next meeting to
I think, yeah, I'm going
about this.
I'll talk to him when he returns, and we'll try to schedule him for the 14th, September 14th.
So the reason, we have this, I was speaking to Jim, and a lot of people, especially during town meeting and everything, people just don't understand about what solar does to the town. And they feel that if they're not getting electricity from it, then it's just a waste of time. But just want to say that if you look over this this summary of 5 projects, it's talking about and it will be discussed more precisely at our next meeting, hopefully, that with these 5 projects we're getting with taxes from the pilot program, $323,000 roughly, and then $66,000 a year from all these projects. So it does make for a significant taxes to the town. So it not only helps the town with taxes, but it also helps the landowner, and a large portion of these projects are cranberry growers. And I don't know if the board members here were here when the solar's been going on in the cranberry bogs now for so many years. A lot of you people are new to this, but it also helps the cranberry growers because they get rental, or they get they get
Lease payments.
Lease payments, yeah. They lease the land out to the solar project, so it helps them continue their farming with the cranberries. And a lot of the growers are saying that they're actually losing money by growing cranberries. So if it wasn't for the solar projects helping them maintain their properties and the cranberry, giving them additional income to grow cranberries, that they would have to abandon some of their cranberry bogs. So I just want people to realize that. It will be explained. These are just 5 projects, and, you know, there are other projects that are coming around town. There are constantly projects that are coming to the planning board. But I just want to just let people know the benefits of these things. We also at town meeting had solar canopies. People didn't quite understand why we were having solar canopies well, we discussed solar canopies, and at the school and at the police station, it was voted down. Well, the canopies have been approved, but then the lease agreement arrangements were voted down. And people thought that the electricity from the canopies were actually going to the town buildings, but that isn't what happened. So the town would make money by leasing the property for the solar canopies. So instead of getting electricity, the town receives the lease money for the solar canopies. So I don't think people understood that. They didn't think that town was getting any benefit from this. So that's another thing, and that's something else to talk about in the future. But hopefully this will be explained more thoroughly. They're all, well, I guess we'll talk about it more, but there is more money that's associated with these solar projects too, and inspectional fees and things like that amount to a great deal of money for the town and the
Mr. Chairman,
taxpayers.
could you just remind people also to talk into the microphones, because we have to do our minutes from the tape of the meeting tonight.
All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I can hear myself better. All right, so we'll do that then at our next meeting. And when next meeting is going to be
Should be
the
September
14th of September, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the next thing we have is a sign permit application of Shane Gives Thanks Food Pantry, 128 Main Street, number 2G. It's for a wall sign. It's 48 by 24 inches, or 8 square feet, and it's in the general business district. And Jim, do you have anything to talk
Right.
about
So we have
on
Mr.
this?
Walter Cole here from Shane Gives Thanks. Did you want to come on up to the table there?
Hello, Walter. If you give us your name and address and speak into the microphones, because the minutes are going to be taken from the film, the tape.
I live at 17 Lincoln Circle, Carver, Mass. I represent Shane Gives Thanks Food Pantry.
Can you step a little closer to the mic?
Can you pull the
Yeah, you got to
mic
put the
closer?
microphone
I'm sorry,
right up.
Walter.
Yeah, you can pull it right up.
It moves.
It never worked. My name's Walter Cole. I live at 17 Lincoln Circle, Carver, Mass. I represent Shane Gives Thanks Food Pantry. What we were looking to do is, we had a company that wanted to donate us a sign to draw a little bit more attention to the pantry instead of the little window sign that we have.
See, it looks like you're going to put this right on the roof, right below the window, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Are there going to be any lights on it or anything else
No,
like that?
nothing, no
It's gonna
lights,
be-
no nothing,
okay.
just the sign itself.
All right. All right, so Jim, how does this work out?
Right, so the sign is 8 square feet, which fits within the zoning requirement. So I think it's fairly simple and straightforward that, it's permitted, and, the board should approve the sign.
Okay, generally on something like this, we don't charge our usual fees for something like this. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but traditionally,
Yeah, usually, well, the fees are collected when we receive the application, so even before it gets before a board, so,
Can I make a motion to return? Is that within our powers, or? Actually,
Well-
I'm going to have to abstain from this, so I can't make that.
so, yeah. So basically, I'm just recommending that, approval of the sign, total of 8 square feet, as shown in the attachment that shows the sign at 48 inches by 24 inches and 1 inch thick. And that's,
Can I make a motion to approve the sign and waive the fee?
Well, has the fee already been,
I think the fee's already been paid. Sometimes it's
the fee was-
problematic giving refunds.
I paid the fee.
all right,
But can we do it in a two motion? So one, make a motion for the sign, and then if able to, refund the fees as a second motion. That's what I'm recommending.
okay.
Fine. I'll make a motion to approve the sign. And I would like to make a motion to,
Well, one at a time, then
I'll
we'll
second
vote
the,
on that.
first one.
Yeah. So Kevin made the motion, John Gatsky second, so,
I'm going to have to abstain from this because I have a long-term relationship with the applicant.
okay, all right. So, yeah, since this is going to be, notes going to be taken from the tape, let's just kind of do a roll call vote around.
What is it? John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
No special permit on this, this is a regular. So we have 4-0-1, one abstention. Okay.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to return the fees if that's possible.
I'd like to make that said motion.
Second?
So it's made by Kevin, second by John Gatsky. So Connie is going to
I will
abstain.
abstain again, yep.
Okay,
Yeah, John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, people. Thank you very much.
Good to
Yes,
see you
thank
again.
Recuse. Just give me 1 second to catch up, please. Gasky, Mackey, Robinson.
Okay, so the next hearing we have is a continuation of a public hearing. And this is one that we're hearing tonight, right, Jim?
That's correct.
Okay, so this is on the application of Galehead Development requesting a special permit and site plan review pursuant to section 2230, 3100, 3700, 3580, and 5300 of the Carver zoning bylaw. And this located at 0 Meadow Street, and it's to allow the construction and operation of an approximate 1 megawatt large-scale ground-mounted solar photovoltaic installation, and the property is located in a residential agricultural district. And so this hearing was continued from July 27. All right, good evening, everyone. If you could give us your names and the companies you represent.
Sure. I'm Christopher Wagner, environmental scientist with VHB.
And I'm Cameron Knowles. I'm on the development team at Galehead Development.
Okay. Thank you. So I know we've done a site walk. This is the particular property. It's located at the end of,
Cobblestone Lane.
yeah, Cobblestone Lane, okay. And this was going to be built out in a bog. There were
That's
a
right.
couple of bogs out there.
Right.
And one bog is going to be abandoned and used for the solar project.
That's right. Yep.
And I know when we did a site walk, there were no neighbors visible. And, actually, there were two houses. One was the owner of the property, and one was a relative.
That's right.
Okay. And other than that, there weren't any other houses or any other neighbors visible.
Right.
All right, so we kind of felt that this was like, or I felt that it was kind of like a perfect spot for something like
Right.
this.
And that was a good recap of the site walk. And then we were here at the public hearing on the 27th, where we went over a few more details of the project. We presented the project. I think if I remember that the commission actually closed the public hearing portion that evening and just left it for discussion and then promulgation of conditions for the final hearing and then vote. So
Okay, so we did close the public hearing?
I checked the minutes and it wasn't clear, so
So,
we can just go ahead and do that again, I think.
okay. Unless there's someone out there that wants to speak? All right, okay, seeing no one, let's, okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on solar project located on Zero Meadow Street.
Cornelius Shea so makes that motion.
I'll second.
So I have a motion by Connie Shea, second by Ellen Sodillo. So let's do a roll call vote.
Cornelius Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye?
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
All right, thank you. Okay, so now we will, so now let's go on and entertain a motion to approve the special permit and site plan for this particular project. Or before we do that, I guess, do you have you have something for us, Jim, the decision? Do you want to read that to us?
Sure. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead. Read the conditions. So condition 1, the project shall be constructed according to the approved site plan and decision. Any revisions to the project will require approval from the board as a modification to this decision. Number 2, the applicant shall adhere to the recommendations of the fire department found in the comment letters dated May 12, 2021, addressing energy storage systems, general conditions, and site access. The fire department must approve in writing any modifications to its recommendations. Number 3, if the applicant sells or transfers the solar project, the seller and buyer must come before the planning board to review the approved site plan and decision and inform the project will be constructed according to the approved site plan and decision. Number 4, the solar panel shall not exceed 8 feet in height above grade as shown on sheet C4.01, site details, page 5 of 5 on the approved site plan titled Proposed Solar Array, Zero Meadow Street, Carver, Mass., map 82, lot 1A, dated March 19, 2021, revised April 8, 2021, May 24, 2021, and July 9, 2021, prepared for Galehead Development, 200 Portland Street, 5th floor, Boston, Mass., and prepared by VHB 101 Walnut Street, P.O. Box 9151, Watertown, Massachusetts, 02471. Condition 5, the owner-operator of the solar project shall submit an annual report to the board through the planning director no later than 45 days after the end of the calendar year, certifying compliance with approved plans and requirements. Condition 6, the applicant shall notify the planning board through the planning director by certified mail the proposed date of discontinued operations and plans for removal of the solar project. The solar project shall not be removed. The solar project shall be removed no more than 120 days after the date of discontinued operations. Condition 7, prior to the start of construction, the applicant shall submit a record of construction, general permit coverage, and the site-specific stormwater pollution prevention plan, which includes a figure that depicts the proposed location of controls. Condition number 8, prior to any site disturbance and construction, the limits of approved site disturbances shall be surveyed and clearly marked by a professional land surveyor. Upon completion of the survey, the professional land surveyor shall verify in writing to the planning board in writing that the limit of work as shown in the approved site plans has been established on the site. Number 9, clearing limits beyond agricultural purposes, if necessary, shall be marked in the field prior to clearing, and the planning board notified to allow them the opportunity to verify clearing extents prior to beginning clearing activities. Number 10, dust control is required during construction, and the roadway apron is to be kept swept and clear of any dust, dirt, or debris. Condition 11, Construction equipment and trucks shall not idle or operate on site prior to 7 a.m. Construction activities shall only occur Monday through Friday, 7 to 4 p.m. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, condition number 12, a true copy of the recorded decision as registered at the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds shall be submitted to the permitting department. Condition 13, any outstanding balance of the review and inspections deposit account shall be paid. Condition 14, the applicant shall provide the planning board written documentation of Eversource approval of the proposed interconnection. Condition 15, the developer shall submit a ground fuse meter curing and maintenance schedule to the permitting department and the fire department. The fire department shall approve the ground fuse maintenance schedule. Condition 16, the developer shall submit an emergency response plan to the fire department and the permitting department. Number 17, the developer shall receive from the fire department acceptance of the proposed site access in writing prior to issuance of a building permit. Such written acceptance shall be submitted to the building with the building permit application. Condition 18, the applicant shall have received approval from the planning board for all signage required under section 3580.26.2. Condition 19, the applicant shall submit the contact information for the system installer as part of the building permit submission. Prior to the issuance of an electrical permit, condition 20, the applicant shall provide the town with a decommissioning bond for 125% of the decommissioning costs of the project. Condition 21, the applicant shall ensure compliance with the National Electrical Code requirements on access, fencing, and security. A statement of compliance shall be submitted to the building commissioner and planning director by the electrical inspector. Condition 22, final electrical line diagram stamped by a licensed professional engineer shall be submitted to the town with the building permit submission. Prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy and use. Condition 23, the applicant shall provide any requested training to the fire department for mitigating emergencies on site. Condition 24, the developer shall receive from the fire department written acceptance of the final condition of access roads prior to array operation. Condition 25, as-built plans shall be submitted to the town's engineer and permitting department in both electronic and hard copy form prior to the final inspection. Condition 26, in accordance with section 3180, compliance of the zoning bylaws, the town's engineer shall inspect the project to ensure that it's been completed in compliance with the approved site plan and its conditions. And that's the end of the conditions.
And these conditions have been reviewed by you people?
Just now.
Oh, it's just...
Well, no, I
okay.
sent a copy to Lucas Feria.
Oh, okay, great.
You know,
Okay,
he
great.
seemed satisfied with what we proposed.
Okay. I mean, I was just wondering about the height restriction. You know, we're putting that in our decisions now.
Right.
Right, I talked to Lucas Feria directly about
Okay.
that.
All right. All right. All right. So, any of the planning board members have any additions or have any other?
I just have two quick questions. Did you get signed affidavits from all direct abutters to the property?
Right, we reviewed that at the last hearing, and we did. We covered that.
I'm asking you, did you get signed waivers from all direct abutters to the property?
We got signed waivers from all, I forget the wording in the town manager's decision, but those were the waivers that we obtained.
Is the project more than 600 feet away from anybody that you might not have gotten?
Yes.
Okay. And my second and last question. Do you have, I see that you're asking for interconnection through the telephone poles?
Right.
You're not planning on putting any equipment aside from the interconnection on the poles?
So the interconnection is at the, is basically at the say of Eversource.
Yeah.
So that, that's up to them, but the plan is not to put equipment there, it's just to run lines.
Right, just the transformer necessary
Right.
at the,
Exactly.
that's fine.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Unless it changes. But I have something to say about that after this, but, All right, anything else? Any of the other
Yeah, I
members?
have one thing, Jim, on the findings section in the, actually the first bullet there, public, says that the public hearing was closed on August 24th, 2021.
Right,
Okay,
that's
so
something I have to correct.
Yeah, there was.
So I was anticipating that we were having a meeting last week and
Right.
got
Yeah,
canceled,
I
so I have
noticed
to,
the
have to update it.
letterhead was updated, but the rest of the document was not, so.
thanks for pointing that out.
All right.
I,
Oh, I'm sorry, John.
yeah, I'm struggling to know which array this is that we're looking at.
This was in relation to the ANR that that brought Cobblestone Lane and made the Cranberry Bogs part of the western property. There was an eastern, a western, and then there was a Cranberry Bogs in back, and it brought.
It's what we had, where one house was split. They had to split up the property with the one house, or?
Yeah, they had to split, they had to more or less change it so that the Cranberry Bogs,
Okay,
Were-
yeah. Some of these things are all running
because
together.
next door to it was the upland proposed one on the forested site. These
Okay.
ones are, this is the one next to it on the Cranberry Bogs.
Okay, all right.
Unless I'm correct?
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, okay, just making sure.
It does get a bit confusing.
Yeah. All of them are labeled 0, whatever.
Yes, I know.
Right, right.
I have them both here, and
It's just
they're both
difficult,
labeled
yeah.
0, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Anything else by any of the other planning board members? All right. Seeing no one coming forward, I'd entertain a motion to approve the application of Galehead Development for the special permit and site plan on 0 Meadow Street,
I'll make that said motion.
I'll second that.
along with the decision. All right. Okay, so Kevin made the motion. Do I hear a second?
Ellen.
Oh, Ellen, I'm sorry, Ellen.
Seconded.
And so Ellen second, and Kevin made the motion. So, okay, let's do a roll call vote then.
Cornelius Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
Okay, so that was unanimous. So, thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight, and we didn't. Boy, this has been a while since, I think it was in the wintertime when we actually took our site walk out there.
The first one, well, but we were also there in June, I think late June. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we got there in the end.
Did you raise your hand? No, okay. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so this is where it gets confusing, but, so we go on to our next one, was the application of Ironwood Renewable LLC, and this was for an application on 223 Meadow Street. But that has been requested to be continued to our next hearing, Jim?
Yeah, so Ironwood is headquartered down in Louisiana, and due to the hurricane, they're not able to fly up here to be part of it, so they requested a continuance. And then also part of the package here, I put the latest comment letter from Andy Glines from Fuss & O'Neill in your package.
Yeah, there was, a letter from Brooke Monroe, there was a letter from Jesse Boyle, and a letter from Fuss & O'Neill.
Okay, and there's a new one I put in tonight, dated August 30th, from Fuss & O'Neill. Just so everyone has everything in their file. And then what I did, also copied a piece of the bylaw out Question came up regarding land clearing, and so, and I have it highlighted in yellow. It says, "Clearing of natural vegetation shall be limited to what is necessary for the construction, operation, and maintenance of the large ground-mounted solar project or otherwise prescribed by applicable laws, regulations, and bylaws." So just wanted to bring that up because people had concerns about, removal of trees for the project. And it's not prohibited by the bylaw. It just says it's going to be limited. And you can't, take as much as you can use. And I believe the coverage or the amount of land being cleared is about 9.8 acres. I don't know, I can't remember what the total acreage is.
Okay, so I talked to Jim about this today, and I know one of the problems, we'll have to talk about that at our next meeting on this, but, there were concerns by the planning board members about clearing, so we can discuss that. There's another thing I asked Jim, hopefully it's possible, and I asked Jim that eventually we're going to have somebody from National Grid come down.
Eversource.
Or Eversource,
Yeah.
in this particular case, yeah, in this area. To come down and maybe explain their pole setup so that we don't constantly go over, what's going on with the poles at the road. So hopefully we can get these people to be at our meeting or give us some information at our next meeting. So, all right, so anything else needs to be said, Jim, about this?
Just we need to take a vote to continue it to the next meeting.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for Ironwood Renewable LLC, and this is on 223 Meadow Street. We're going to continue the public hearing to September 14th at 7 o'clock.
I'll make that said motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made by Kevin Robinson, second by Connie Shea. Okay, roll call vote.
Cornelia Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
Okay, so that was unanimous. All right, thank you. So next we go to, on the application of Marion Gorey, and this was the lady that was, had the hobby commercial kennel. And, let me see. We were going to continue this, or were we going to hear this tonight?
Right, the last time we heard from her, she was working on getting the fence removed, and I went by there, about 2 weeks ago, and she was in the process of having the fence moved
Okay.
onto her own property. So at one point, in order to give her enough time to do that, we continued it until the 28th, September 28th.
Okay, September 28th, that's right. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing of Miriam Gorey on 149 South Main Street to September 28th at 7 o'clock.
I'll make that said motion.
I'll second that.
So a motion by Kevin Robinson, second by Ellen Sordillo. All right, let's roll call vote.
Cornelia Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
Okay, so that was unanimous. So the next on our agenda is the application of JCM Carver Acquisitions LLC requesting a special permit for a fast food or drive-in restaurant, and this is on 287 Tremont Street.
I believe that's Erickson's.
Yeah, it is. So, and then we also have, I guess they wanted to continue to do some more work on this project.
Right, so their initial plan showed a large storage garage on the property. but it wasn't indicated that it was going to, they wanted to use it for like a, the infamous craftsman tradesman / contractor bays. So when we had the technical review committee, they were informed that they would have to apply for a special permit in order to do two buildings on one parcel, two principal structures on one parcel. And so they've gone ahead and held back on moving forward until that second special permit's being advertised right now. And so it'll be, they'll be ready to be heard on the 28th.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to continue the application of JCM Carver Acquisitions LLC, which is on 287 Tremont Street, to continue the hearing to September 28th at 7 o'clock.
I'll make that said motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Ellen Sodillo, second by Kevin Robinson. Let's vote.
Cornelius Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Alan Sodillo, aye.
All right, so, I don't know, this meeting's going too quick tonight. Minor modifications. So this, we have a request for minor modification for 96 Forest Street. Eric Pontiff to modify a site plan to allow owner to combine 4 bays and 5, to combine 4 bays in a 5-bay rear building to lease the tenant of the front building. And so this is also to be continued, Jim?
That's correct. So I spoke with Eric Pontiff tonight. We received a letter from the fire department. They were concerned, their concern is the material within the building, and sometimes some stuff is much more toxic or flammable. And so they, when originally the original application came in, Nutrien was originally just going to be in that front building. And so the fire department requested that a fire engineer review what they were putting into the building so that the fire department could, comment on it and make sure that whatever was in the building was going to be safe. And so the fire department asked for the same type of study to be done for the rear building where, they're putting material back there. And so Mr. Pontiff went ahead, hired the fire engineer. That study is not complete yet, but they're expecting something to be completed by before the 14th. So they asked for a continuance to September 14th.
Now, I have a question. Aren't they going to run into the same difficulty that Erickson's is running into? In other words, if it's not being used as a craftsman tradesman building and it's being used as a storage building, aren't they going to run into the same issues that Erickson has already run into?
So they have a special permit for 2 buildings on one lot. So when they came in with the special permit. Erickson's, when they originally came in, they had, the principal building for the ice cream and then this accessory building for storage. But then it was revealed that the owner of the property wanted to do this other use. So now they came in and applied for the special permit, whereas Pontiff's project already has the special permit.
But you're changing the basic designation from a craftsman tradesman building to a storage building. Wouldn't that create issues?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to take a look at that. So,
Because it's not a minor modification when you're changing the complete use and definition of what the purpose of the building was for. I would think that would make it a major modification.
We'll have to take a look at, let's take a look at what we approved. I believe.
Because I don't have that information.
Yeah, no, we'll have to take a look at the decision. There's some confusion. I've talked to Jim about the craftsman tradesman's building, and yeah, you know, a lot of these things are used for storage. I mean, like a plumber will use it for plumbing storage. I mean, we've even had some people park their vehicles, you know, some company park their vehicles in some of these places. So,
Maybe we should
so,
get a more defined of what a craftsman, tradesman, somebody that creates something or
well,
somebody in the process of using the artistic talent to manufacture a product. and-
right, but
and
then.
It's not storage.
Well, then I don't know, it's, then you're kind of restricting, so if a plumber, I mean, if a plumber or a carpenter or somebody else wants to store stuff in the space that he rents,
Yes, but he's a tradesman. I mean,
Yeah.
a plumber is a clear tradesman, as is a
Right,
cabinet
right,
maker. and,
right.
You know.
I don't know, but the planning board already approved use for that back building.
That was, yes, and that's the
already
problem.
approved
My
it.
issue is, my concern is
So
that,
we might have to go, I don't know, we'll have to take a look at it
Right.
and maybe get a legal opinion, because we already approved that, and I think part of it was, I thought.
Well, the original
and I-
intent was to rent out individual spaces.
Yeah,
And
but-
now the front tenant now has a need to use it, so I guess that's something that we need to further.
Well, I thought the
Discuss.
front tenant was also going to use a couple of those things for storage, too.
Actually, they're using four of the 5 bays for storage.
Yeah, so,
They're proposing to.
and I don't know, you have to take a look at the decision and what we voted on. It's been a while now, so I can't remember.
because I mean, a storage building of 700 square feet is pretty, it comes up often, and whether it's you're running a plumbing business out of your house or various other businesses, the 700-foot benchmark is what we're dealing with, like what Erickson's dealing with in South Carver, as opposed to storing, let's just say, mounds of ice cream in the building. They're changing the purpose, as is this building, and it's in the opposite direction. And so instead of from storage to tradesman, this one's going from tradesman to storage. And I think we need to better define where we are on this, because it seems like a lot of them are popping up, and then
Yep.
the usage is changing.
I'll talk to the building commissioner as well,
Yep,
between now and the
I agree.
14th.
We're kind of, I think we're going off into the weeds with some of these, the craftsman tradesmen's buildings, so,
As we know, you get hung up. Go off into the weeds.
so, yeah, so before we have that, we'll get the decision and take a look at it and see what we agreed on, and,
To see
well,
what
but we'll have something,
clarified, you know, if it was clarified for one or the other.
right,
And
yeah, I forget now
deviating
exactly
from
what
what
we
was-
did. Yeah, I forget exactly what we did there. Because we've had a bunch of these buildings come up now. And it's like the solar projects, you get confused what's what. So if we could take if Jim could get that information ready for us, and then we'll discuss it at our next meeting.
So we need to vote to continue that one. as
Okay,
well.
so this one will be continued to when, Jim?
September 14th.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to continue the request for a minor modification of 96 Forest Street, Eric Pontiff, to September 14th at 7 o'clock.
I'll make that said motion.
I'll second that motion. Cornelia Shea seconds that motion.
Okay, so Ellen Sodillo made the motion, Connie Shea second, and so roll call vote.
Cornelia Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
Okay, so that was unanimous.
And
All right.
can we do the motions again? Just give me 1 second, I just want to take Robinson and Sordillo. 1, 2, 3. So Ellen made the motion to
Ellen
continue.
made this motion
Okay. And then the second was by,
by Mr. Shea, second it.
okay. And it was unanimous 5-0 to continue to
Yes,
the
5-0.
14th.
Can I ask a question? We've had 4 continuances. So 3 of them are for the 14th and 1 of them is the 28th. Is that correct?
Let's see, let's go back. So Galehead's out, so Ironwood is to the 14th. Gorey is to the 28th. JCM Acquisitions is to the 28th.
Oh, okay.
And then Pontiff is to the 14th.
Okay, so split. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so next, we have a proposed two-lot subdivision located off of Wareham Street, and it's to be created from Assessors Map 134. It's lots 4-1, 4-2, and 4-3. It's proposed by 80 Makepeace Company of Wareham, and this is a preliminary subdivision plan. So where is this? Oh, we have someone to talk about this.
I'm curious, is this an A&R or is this a preliminary subdivision plan?
Well, here's the gentleman you want to speak to. If you could give us your name and the company you represent.
Sure, my name is Sam Iamelli with JC Engineering.
And if you could pull that microphone as close as you can to you.
Sure.
I thank you.
I could share with Bruce.
Come on over, John. It's this, but I'm having some confusion. This is the... Where's the...
All right, so Jim and I looked at this, and I noticed that, so this property is 468 acres. That's the combined acreage of the two lots?
Correct, yes.
Okay, and apparently there was an old, a previous plan, and it had a short road, it looked like just a few hundred feet long with a cul-de-sac, and that was into that whole 468 acre property.
Correct, yes.
So now it seems like you're moving the cul-de-sac, you're moving it west, and it looks like 300 feet roughly. And from that cul-de-sac, you've created 2 lots.
That is correct, yes.
All right.
And that's reconfiguring 3 other lots or 2 other lots?
Existing, there were 3 lots with the right-of-way. We're moving the right-of-way and creating 2 lots from those 3 existing.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that's right. There were 3 lots on the original plan, so now you're just making it, moving the cul-de-sac and making 2 lots.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I also included a copy of the assessor's map.
Yeah, I
part of the
remember
package,
seeing
just
that
to
in
help.
the package.
So is, what I'm looking, which is very hard to see, 4.3 is going to remain as it is, and 4.1 and 4.2 are going to be combined into Lot 2? Is that what I'm...
Nope, there's a completely different dividing line now that will now separate lots 1 and 2. You can see the existing division kind of in a skinnier line there.
This is supposed to be the new line with the double dash around it. I believe this one is the old line.
These are going to be combined into one, though. Is that
That's
what
my
I'm looking
understanding,
at?
yeah.
And this is going to be the other one with a somewhat slight variation off of...
That's up Wareham Street.
Is this existing or is it not existing?
Is the cul-de-sac, does that exist right now? Has that been constructed?
There is no construction, no.
Okay, so, and then I believe this is the older, or
The original.
the original cul-de-sac is northerly or northeasterly of the...
Right, we took that same configuration and slid it down south down the road, approximately 150 feet.
So, if I could, Kevin, I noticed that the road is going to be constructed?
I
The new
can't
road?
really speak to any future development. We were showing the road as required in the regulations.
Right. And I looked at it, and is that road going to have drainage?
We were proposing some drainage, 2 catch basins, to a manhole, to a few leaching chambers off to the side there with a designated drainage easement. See on the last page.
Okay. You know, I would think that this would have to be reviewed by Fuss and O'Neill.
Yeah, so we do have a technical review committee coming up on Thursday. And I've sent this to Fuss and O'Neill just to take a look at. Now, is there any development proposed on these lots?
Again, I can't really speak to any proposed development. From my understanding, it's, the previous plan was created back in 2002, I think it was approved, and our client wishes to just kind of refresh that plan and with new property lines.
Is this more like a kind of a development hold type of move to freeze the ability to develop the lots because it's well over 7 years or whatever it is?
Yeah, again, I can't really speak too much on that.
When was the prior subdivision?
I believe it was 2002. I have that plan right here.
It's expired,
I believe so.
It was endorsed in 2002.
so it's expired.
Correct.
Where does the pipeline go through?
I'm sorry?
The pipeline?
That's an existing gas easement, the Algonquin gas line. Existing, there's 3 parcels. Right.
Could you make sure that you're talking to the microphone because the notes are going to be taken from the video?
But that's somebody else's land.
Bring it closer, Ellen.
Did we approve those?
Yeah, right. Really get it close.
I'm not seeing, where's the third parcel? 1, 2.
It's just the 2 parcels.
It's going to be,
But
it
they're
was
Creating
3.
2.
So it was 3 and you created
We're merging the 3 and creating 2.
And moving the road.
And
You know,
moving
just
the road.
moving the road.
What road you moving? The cul-de-sac?
The cul-de-sac, correct. Yep.
Is that the darker one on there? Well, on this map, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, the
Right.
light one is...
The darker's proposed, the lighter's existing.
This is working.
Okay.
Right. So, we're going to have to continue this meeting, I would think.
Right.
Because Fuss and O'Neill's going to have to take a look at this. And there was something about this being a minor modification?
No, this is
This can't be a minor
No, it's a
modification.
preliminary subdivision plan.
Yeah, okay, I had in my notes, I don't know, okay.
And then also in the application, you're seeking waivers.
So this is the.
Yep, we're seeking a
This is
few
the lot.
waivers from the
This is what they're
requirements.
working.
Would you like me to go over those?
Sure, if you want them, you gotta ask for them.
Well, then, these will also be reviewed by the technical review committee when you get together and look at this too.
Yep, so we have another tech review, and then we've also sent it out to Fuss and O'Neill, so that they can get a review on it
Okay.
and a recommendation.
So the waivers we're requesting is going to be section 5.3.2, item number 4, item number 17.
What are those specifically, do you know?
Yes, item 4 asks that when the owner controls unsubdivided land adjacent to the shown on the preliminary plan, a possible or prospective street layout for such adjacent land shall be included. The explanation for that can also be similar for number 17, where that one asks the limits of all contiguous land under the ownership or control of the applicant be shown. This, with our client being 80 Makepeace, owning large parcels of land over various towns, and due to the proximity of work, we feel that we could request a waiver on that.
Okay.
Is there not a map big enough to show it, or, I mean, honestly?
There would be, it would just take a lot of effort for something not relative to kind of what we're working on.
So these two lots are on two different sheets.
Correct, yes. First sheet shows the front half closest to Wareham Street. And then the last waiver we'd be requesting
I don't think.
would
it's a
be
waiver.
item number 20, which asks that all boundaries of wetlands and cranberry bogs be approved through an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation by the Conservation Commission. Right now, we are in the process of bringing a plan across to the Conservation Board showing the front face of these wetlands and cranberry bogs closest to Wareham Street, where any development would be proposed. The remainder, again, due to the large size and proximity, the rest is not going to be approved through the conservation.
All right, just going to say to Mr. Shea that Fuss and O'Neill will look at the waivers too, and they'll recommend, whether they think it's okay or not to do what what they're asking for as far as waivers. So and we can discuss those at our next meeting.
Yeah. And you mentioned you were planning on moving the pipeline?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I thought I saw the pipeline. I heard you were
Oh, okay. I think
planning
there
on
was a
moving
question about
something.
it.
I wasn't entirely, I didn't see how that was.
I don't think the gas company's going to
Yeah,
allow
I didn't
that.
see how that was possible.
That's a big line. I think it may go to the Capes, or it goes south. It's a big line. Gas, natural gas. All right, if there aren't any other questions, or are there any other questions? If there aren't any other questions, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing on the proposed two-lot subdivision.
Mr. Chair?
Preliminary
Just
subdivision? Yeah.
for a point, it's not a public hearing, so
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, there is no public hearing notice on this,
And I
yeah.
thought this was is this not an A&R?
no, this is,
No.
it's not an A&R, but it falls under the subdivision rules and regulations. So it doesn't require a public hearing, doesn't require any kind of public notice. It's presented to the board, and then the board has 45 days from when it's submitted to the town to make a decision.
Okay.
So we do have a time clock that we
And
have.
where are we on that time clock now?
I forgot what date do you guys submit this thing? Submitted on August 12th.
So we're already, what, 20 days?
20 days into it.
We're halfway in.
Thank you.
Fuss and O'Neill already have this stuff?
I would imagine so.
Yeah, I've sent it to them, so they have it. I forwarded out to all the members of the technical review committee, so they have it. We're having a meeting on Thursday to review things and get comments. Kevin Ford, the health agent, has looked at it. He has no comments on it so far, but we're waiting to get everyone else's comments, and then also any comments back from Fuss and O'Neill.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for the proposed tool, oh, it is not public hearing, I'm sorry. Okay, I keep saying that.
Want me to yell at
To
you again?
continue the hearing for the preliminary subdivision plan located off Wareham Street by 80 Makepeace.
I'll make that said motion.
It will be at, what will be so when are we doing this, the 14th, Jim, or
Yeah,
the?
September 14th.
Okay, September 14th, so it'll be September 14th at 7 o'clock.
Well, we have to have a decision ready for then.
What's that?
We'll have to have a decision ready for then.
Yeah, there'll have to be a vote held.
There'll have to be a vote.
Yeah. Well, 30, August 11th.
Because,
Well, no,
that's
it'll-
20, because if
That's
we,
only 30, yeah, that's
Yeah, the
33
28th will be
days, so
too-
we'll have to vote on.
yeah, because the 28th would be too far.
Right, so we're going to do this the 14th.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying, we have to
yeah,
have a vote.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll take a vote to continue, and then we'll get the comments back from the review committee and from Fuss and O'Neill. Now, this is a preliminary subdivision plan. If this is approved, will it go on to the
Definitive.
definitive plan?
Correct, yep.
Okay. So, I don't know, everybody's new here. When you come in with the subdivision plan, although this is a strange subdivision plan, I mean, it's just a small little road with 2 lots off of it. I mean, but if somebody came into, and presented us, say, for example, a road with a cul-de-sac on it and say 6 lots off of it.
Well, it's 2 lots, but those 2 lots are 400 acres.
Right. Well, yeah, but what you're concerned with most on something like this is the drainage and stuff like that. Utilities, drainage. So what the engineer does is they come in with the preliminary subdivision plan, and it's basically just a rough plan.
Yeah.
And if we approve it, then they go back and they do a final, what was it again?
A
final-
definitive plan.
Definitive, yeah, and can't remember that, but definitive. Yeah, you come back with a definitive plan which has more detail in it,
Right.
okay? And so that's how that goes, just for anybody that doesn't know. So there's usually, on a subdivision, there's usually 2 rounds of plans that are submitted. Right. And this is just the first. Okay,
So Kevin made the motion to continue. I don't know if we have a second yet.
Did Ellen second?
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Let's vote. So that would be September 14th at 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Cornelia Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sordillo, aye.
Okay, so that was unanimous. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And then,
But generally, when a subdivision plan comes in, it comes in as a preliminary plan, and so that gives a chance for the planning board to kind of look at it and say whether they like it or not. And so if they do like it, then they go into more detail and with the final drawings, drainage calculations, and more review for final submittal to the planning board. So yeah, just the first round of plans are just to get the planning board, just to see if they like it or not. I mean, that's the way we used to do it. You can come in with just a definitive plan too, which the company that I work for, sometimes we just did that. But you don't spend as much money on a preliminary plan, and you can kind of see how the planning board feels about it. And then you go on, if the planning board okays it, then they go on with the definitive from there. And that, costs a little bit more money to develop.
But then bring it in with me.
All right, so, anything, are we all
All right,
set?
so next up, so
We
that
got-
takes care of all those items. If you like, I can just give a heads up that Jack Williams will be coming in requesting a lot release for his subdivision, Gilbert Estates. We did send information into Fuss and O'Neill. They reviewed things, and they recommended a $100,000 bond. Jack Williams is working on getting the bond, but this is more of a prelude that this will be coming up.
All right, we're going on to other business, planning board member notes, and I think Ellen might have something to say tonight.
I just got over having COVID. I had the vaccine in April. I thought I was being fairly cautious, and then, as everybody does, okay, that's better. I thought I was being cautious. I was out there and I wasn't wearing a mask, but I noticed about 3 days before I got sick, I had gone to Market Basket and people were starting to wear masks again, and it made me start thinking, I'm going to wear a mask again. Well, I thought I had a sinus infection, and my doctor sent me to get a COVID test, and you could have knocked me over with a feather when they said you have COVID.
Again?
And once again, I was vaccinated, but I do have underlying health conditions. I have asthma. And I will say that this is one of the worst things I've ever experienced, and I've gone through a lot in my life. It was so debilitating and just beyond anything I could understand. So my message to everybody here is forget about the political stuff, get a vaccine, and get the follow-up vaccine when that's available. Wear a mask and do it for yourself, do it for your family, and do it for your friends and strangers. What I went through was something I hope to never experience again. My grandson caught it too. He was not vaccinated because he's of that generation, thinking they know everything. So he's still sick. My husband didn't get it. He was vaccinated. So really, I think back to polio, and everybody got vaccinated during the polio epidemic afterwards, and there hasn't been a resurgence since then. Smallpox, the same thing. So I don't know why it wasn't mandated that everybody get that vaccine, but I surely will tell you from the experience I had that get the vaccine, be cautious, and wear a mask till we can get this under control. And that's my message to everybody here and anybody else that's listening. And now I go up to random people that don't have masks on, and I say what I feel, and they can say, you live your life your way and I'll live mine my way. But I think that's an extremely selfish way to look at this whole situation that we have. And until it's eradicated, it won't be eradicated if people decide they're not going to get the vaccine and they're not going to wear a mask. So please take care of yourselves and your families and your friends and get that vaccine, wear a mask, and let's try to eradicate this horrible virus.
Well, thank you, Ellen. Glad to see you back.
Thank you.
Bruce,
I hope you're feeling better.
I do.
if I may, Bruce?
Yes.
Because we saw some friends of mine in here from Shane Gives Thanks, I just want to remind everybody what a valuable service they do for the community, how important they are, and how they tend to be a little forgotten because they're set back in Cranberry Crossing. Is that correct?
Yeah, over by Rooney's.
Yeah, so I want to remind everybody,
D's.
all year long is the time to stop by and donate, especially nowadays with so many people out of work and so many people struggling. It's not just at Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's a year-round issue, and I just want to thank them for coming in today.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, one other thing, given the situation that the country just went through with departure in Afghanistan and everything else like that, I'd like to remind all of our townsfolk and everything that there are a lot of veterans in the area from that spent time over in Afghanistan. Keep these people in your prayers and check in on them. Make sure that they're doing okay. Health check for everybody. That's it.
Thank you, John. Anything else?
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
so we now have a new building commissioner working full-time for us. His name is Paul Boucher. And one of the things he's asked us to do is that with any of the site plans that we approve is that planning board members sign off on every page. So right now I made a manual stamp. I went through the plans today just to put in a signing block. But I'm planning to get a stamp that we can actually stamp the plans in case we have a set of plans that doesn't have room for a signing block. So that's a request so that we know which set of plans are the approved site plans, because with the solar project, sometimes it's a year or so before they come back in and they're ready to get their building permit. So this will help improve the communications between planning board and the building commissioner and what's required.
Okay. All right, do you have anything else, Jim, on the planning director notes?
Nothing else?
All right, we have the minutes of 7/27/21.
Cornelia Shea makes a motion to approve minutes of July 27, 2021.
Second?
So you have a motion by Cornelia Shea, second by John Gatsky. Let's do a roll call vote.
Cornelia Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson abstains.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Okay, so we have 4 and 1 abstention, which was Kevin Robinson. All right, our next meeting dates will be 9/14, 9/28, which is September, and we're still in the future, October 12th and October 26th. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Cornelia Shea so makes that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Shea, second by Ellen Sedillo. We'll vote on that.
Cornelia Shea says aye.
John Gasky says aye.
Bruce Mackey, aye.
Kevin Robinson, aye.
Ellen Sedillo, aye.
All right, thank you, and good night, everyone.